Hello and welcome to Finland, where the Indoor European Championships are well underway. Well, it's a winter wonderland out there in Finland, but here in the Sports Centre, the action's hotting up for the second Indoor European Championships after last year's NORWAY event in Italy. The organisers have laid out a really interesting technical track which doesn't include a big long straight and is marked by the dreaded bot dots. A cracking turnout of the top drivers from all over Europe have come here, including world's finalists Elliot Harper, Ronald Volker, Marc Rheinard, and of course the man whose favourite of this event and who's been having a fantastic indoor season, Christer Andersen. Christer Andersen, I believe you're the favourite for this event.
Well, yeah, I think so. Regarding the warm-up event, so that went pretty well. So maybe that's why.
Tied at the top at the moment after 2 rounds with 2 points is German Ronald Volker.
It was a very good practice, and I'm pretty happy with the first qualifier. But I think other guys are also on the same pace, so yeah, I would not say that I'm the favorite.
Marc Rheinard is currently 3rd overall on 8 points, but obviously takes some pleasing.
Yeah, it was pretty bad actually. I mean, we had like 5 seconds off pace, and yeah, we can't be happy with that.
You're fiddling with the car. Do you know what to do?
I don't know what to do, but I just do something to try to find to get a car better. But who knows?
The sole UK entrant is Elliot Harper. He was a world's finalist in Bangkok, but only 18th so far, but still remarkably upbeat. I mean, how are you finding the event so far?
Oh, for me, it's not been great, but it's a really nice venue. I think the team have put on a really good, really good organisation to make it happen, and it seems really nice so far.
It's grey, it's marked with orange bot dots. It's the same for everybody, but they've all got a different opinion about the track.
I just think the track is pretty tight, so yeah, every small mistake you lose a lot of time. But yeah, it's the same for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a little chicane going onto the straight. I mean, it's not so bad because it's quite a straight line. You can just go straight through it, so it's not so bad. But it just adds a little bit more of a challenge to it. And a few people have been caught out, but it's not so bad, actually.
It's completely different than any other track. It's only tight corners and chicanes. So
Yeah, I find this track very technical, but still very fast. So I find it very good.
It's not easy. So if the car's not working that good, you probably make many mistakes.
So let's have a look at the track, and we're with Marc Rheinard, and yes, we have slowed it down to make it a bit easier to see. The track marked by those orange bot dots, it's lethal. You touch one of those, the best you get out of that is being knocked offline. It's very twisty and technical, this track. It's lots of slow, lots of braking. This is the main straight. Look, chicane on the main straight, and already they're braking again. So in real time, they're only on full throttle for about a second. Again, lots of twists, lots of turns, and this track's very narrow. Now, when we come to finals, when people aren't letting each other go, I think there could be some interesting action, to put it mildly. But overall, a very testing circuit. Well, with qualifying all sewn up, let's take a look at our Indoor European Championship A finalists. Well, here we are on the grid, and as you can see, it's on a tight curve for the first 3 drivers. That'll make starting particularly tricky for 3rd place man Alexander Hagberg. But at the front of the grid, it's Ronald Volker. He's been peerless in that Yokomo car all weekend.
The car worked perfect over the whole qualification rounds, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I do like the track, the layout, and everything else. And my mechanic, Umino, prepared it very well.
Very, very quick is local lad Christer Andersen. He's got the Associate here in 2nd. He must have a chance, but he has to get past Ronald on a tight, tricky circuit. Are you concerned about how you're going to overtake Ronald during the finals?
Well, I have thought that myself. I think passing will be hard.
Alexander Hagberg, too cool for school, but with the X-ray car, but he has an issue, and I think starting from that very sharp corner is going to be a big issue for him. Alexander, you kind of snuck into the top 3 at the last minute. You've been down the timesheets. Obviously, you had a difficult start to the weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately I found my speed a bit too late. I made some setup changes for the 5th round, which improved the car greatly, and from that I had 2 final good rounds, which put me in the top 3.
Marc Rheinard, pre-race favourite probably, the world champion, but he's very unhappy here this weekend. Not happy with the tyres, and there's various other things going on. Fifth on the grid, Victor Wilk. Now, Victor's quicker than his position suggests. He's just not really nailed together 3 consistent runs. Had a couple of problems in qualifying. Juho Levänen, the associated driver, really just making up the numbers, but still very, very quick. Remarkable there. In 7th place, another Finn. It's Viljami Kutoven, the young 15-year-old with the Yokomo, a good chassis for this carpet season. And then running back to 8th, it's Christopher Krapp, putting a KO show in the A final, much to everyone's surprise, probably most for all his own, but great driving from Christopher. And finally, Teemu Leino, I can't think he's been the 4th qualifying Finn very often, but he was so late to the grid, he had to change his numbers whilst we were watching this. Now, the 10th place qualifiers, Adrian Berntsen from Norway. We've not really seen him all weekend, but he's putting his best foot forward in this final, despite the fact that he's recovering from ingrained toenail surgery. And that's the grid for your A finals today. Now here with full commentary for all 3 A finals, it's John Hindhoff.
And we're off, and the pole man, Ronald Volker, gets away pretty well from Krista Andersen, who's just, I think, rolled out of 2nd place there, yes, had some kind of problem. And that's Rheinard, who's come through into 2nd place. That distinctively purple and white coloured car. The white and grey behind is Alexander Hagberg, I think, who's come through into 3rd place, is it? That's the battle for 3rd at the moment. Hagberg has gone over. Hagberg's over as well. Goodness me. What a start to this race. As ever, we're finding these curbs very unforgiving. There's Rheinard chasing down the leader, Ronald Volker. And that's a good lead from Volker. You don't expect the experienced man to throw that away. As the world champion then in 2nd position, working through this very, very tricky infield. Have to be brave to get the power on, as Marc did there, because it is so easy to just miss a braking point. Now back with the leader. There he is, just making his way through. Little squirt of power. Reinhardt in 2nd, Victor Wilke in 3rd. Then a bit of a battle behind. Oh, and Wilke's gone, I think. Yes, Wilke's gone. Rolls it over, trying to squirt through that little kink onto the front stretch right underneath our cameras. Now, what does that mean? Let's pick up what's going on here. Well, that is Krista Andersen there, and he's got, that's Teemu Leino from 9th position, and they are in 4th and 5th at the moment, because we've got Juho Levänen ahead of them in 3rd position. Yes, there he is. Well, that's a bit of a shake-up, isn't it? 3rd, 4th and 5th there. Levänen, Andersen and Leino. We know the man in the middle, Andersen, is susceptible to some pressure, and Leino is putting that pressure on now. The yellow-fronted car then. The young Krista Andersen. And there's that problem part of the track. You can see why, can't you? There's a very tight line. It's a very technical track that's being laid down on the carpet here. Just this point here, you want to straight line it, and it's really dicing with death as Leino again in the white-fronted car just has a little look there down the inside, but can't get it done as Andersen repels the pressure this time. Now, back at the head of the field, Ronald Volker is leading out from Rheinard, and Rheinard for me just closing in. Now isn't that experience for you? Marc Rheinard closing down just as the laser is beginning to come to lap traffic. And this is real pressure for Ronald Volker at the head of the field. There is the German just closing down on him. Marc pushing through. Seems to have a good setup there, doesn't he? He hasn't been happy this week. All kinds of problems. He's fought his way through them at this point. I caught a quick flash of that third. Then there is a little mistake there, in fact, from Marc. Just waiting to see that. There is that gaggle of cars that is fighting for the last place on the podium. Seen a lot of Marc Rheinard here as he is just gently closing down on Ronald Volker. Again, through that middle part. Now, there's this battle. Let's have a little look at that in the background. Look at that. That is fantastic stuff. The leader is going to have his wits about him. Hey, that looks like Victor Vilka, who's not having a great run, right at the back of the pack at the moment. Christopher Kraft, Viljani Kotoven, Berntsen, all ahead of him, having their own little battle. And you've just got to hope, as Victor Vilka pulls aside, that the other drivers will have as much savvy about them. At the moment, the leader, Ronald Volker, is, yeah, well, yes, you see, that's exactly what you want when you're the leader. But just look to see where Rheinard is. Can he make any ground behind him? He's there or thereabouts lurking. This is pressure now for Volker. He can't afford to make any mistakes as he comes through in the very closing stages. And Rheinard in sight, but just not able to put the pressure on or make a move. And it will be Volker that wins it from Rheinard. And Juho Leivinen in third position. So confirmation there. There's the first three we spoke about. Teemu Leino coming through from 9th through to 4th position. Berntsen from 10th to 7th. Victor Vilka going the other way, 5th down to 10th. Another good start from Ronald Volker, who gets away from Krista Andersen in 2nd position. And there's a bit of a battle there. Marc Rheinard was trying to muscle his way through. Now, did he get through? No, he did not. And he's still in behind Alexander Hagberg. There is Andersen, Hagberg, Rheinard still pushing. That's the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, in fact, all together. This is letting Ronald Volker get away as Rheinard has another look down the inside, but can't make it through. Krista Andersen making his bid for freedom as well in 2nd position. Look how tight it is for the minor positions. 3rd through to 10th, pretty much all as one. And there's Marc down the inside, but he can't do it there. That's a nice bit of defensive driving by Alexander Hagberg on the X-ray, and I think that's Rheinard all over. He's out, he's gone, he slipped down the order. Now, has he recovered? Can't see him at the back there. That may well have taken the world champion right out of it. Remember, he was 2nd in the first heat, so needed a good result here. Battle in the midfield. It's all pretty equidistant there, isn't it? I'm still seeing if we can see Marc in that Rheinard. There he is. He's way down. And another mistake there. Is that Rheinard again? I think it is. He's really out of sorts this weekend. Doesn't like the tyres, doesn't like the track, doesn't like the grip, and it's just not happening for the German. Right, now that is back with our leader. And what a lead Ronald Volker's got. He's cruising to victory here. Overall, remember, he's got a final victory under his belt already. And Krista Andersen on the Associated is the man in 2nd place who's got to try and do something about this huge gap. And this, in any form of motor racing, will be big. Look at the gap he's got there. That's about a quarter of a lap. That is Andersen in 2nd position. Now, we know this young lad's quick. Has been seen to buckle under pressure, but now what he's got to do is get his head down and try and chase down Ronald Volker, who's offered a different postcode. And everything else really is just for minor positions. Caught a flash of the green there of Hagberger, who I think is still holding on to 3rd. Yes, he is. Leivinen tucked in behind him. Well, I say tucked in. I mean, really, there's nothing going on there, is there? That's a fairly secure 3rd place for Hagberg on the X-ray. Looks good, actually. Nice lines. Just starting to lose the back end there. If he's just starting to lose the grip. Everybody taking chances with those saucer curbs. Leivinen with the blue tail to the car. There he is. And he's riding the saucers as well. Oh, and yeah, you see, you can't do that for very long without it catching you out. Flirting with disaster. So that is Leivinen. Let's see if we can give you some idea of, there's 3rd ahead. That is still Alexander Hagberg. So where's Volker? Ahead of the whole field. This has been a pretty impressive run for Ronald Volker. And 2 A finals will mean it's all over bar the shouting for the minor places. Berntsen goes a lap back to the leader, stays out of the way. Can't even see Anderson in the same picture. In fact, I just think I caught a little glimpse of him, not the car behind. The red and yellow car is Berntsen. He's gone. He's just disappeared. Is that Rheinard still running at the back of the field, who's had a lap put on him? Comes to the start-finish line. He will come through and win. There's the checkered flag. And you've got to say that looked very, very easy indeed. And there it is in black and white. Ronald Volker, 2 races, 2 victories. He'll take the title. Krista Anderson in a lonely second place. And everyone else from Hagberg in third down over was a lap or more back on Ronald Volker.
Now back to the Indoor European Championships with the third and final leg to decide those 2 remaining podium positions. Once again with your commentary, it's John Hindhoff.
Well, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that there is no Ronald Volker. 2 race wins already means he doesn't have to be here. That leaves it open to effectively the new pole man, who is Krista Anderson, with the yellow front to the car. He's got a second place, as has the car in third place, the driver in third place, Marc Rheinard, in behind Hagberg there with the mostly green car. And it is really now between those 2 for second place in the championship. And Krista Anderson, with the advantage of having no one in front of him, of course, with Ronald Volker choosing not to risk the equipment in this third, and for him at least, a completely pointless final. He's already done what he needs to do. What a nice day's work. Early bath for him in the best possible sense, leaving everyone else to settle for the crumbs from the King's table. Can't say how impressed I've been with Volker. Now here is that battle for second position, and that was Marc Rheinard showing, while he is a world champion, might not have shown it very much on very many times this weekend, but he has gone through into second place. And now we need to see the German get his head down, pull away from Hagberg, and that looks like Victor Wilke, isn't it? Now here it is again. Oh, that's just lovely to watch. Look at the way he sets up Hagberg, gets down the inside, doesn't even there make any contact. Lovely stuff. And well, they say that form is transient but class is permanent, and he might not be on form this weekend. In fact, I'm sure he would say he's not, but when you see a manoeuvre like that, you realise that none of the skill has disappeared. Might be out of sorts, but he can still pull off 1 or 2 good moves. Now there is the battle for third. That's Hagberg with Victor Wilke in the yellow-tailed car. So the green is third, the yellow-tailed is fourth. Hagberg and Wilke being joined, I think, by Timo Leino there, if I'm not mistaken. White front of the car. No, in fact, it's Juha Levinen, my apologies. Third, fourth and fifth together. I just Wonder if these guys are right. Oh, and Levenon's gone over in 5th position. And I think I may have promoted Lino a little bit earlier, because now that white fronted car with the purple is definitely Timo Lino. If I can only do the lottery like that on a weekend. 7th, 8th and 9th now. Levenon, Chris Krapp and Vilhoven. Again, this is minor position stuff, but everyone already have fought their way through to these finals. Good to see some hard battling even for the lower positions, just proving how deep the competition is here. The big question now, and I can hear you saying it in the background, is what's going on at the front of the field. And here's Marc Rheinard closing down on Krista Andersen in the battle for the lead of this, and ultimately where the second place in the championship is going to go. Now there is Andersen with the distinctive yellow front and blue rear to the Associated, coming round underneath our camera position now, and that tricky little kink onto the fast straight. Now where is Reinhardt? He's not close enough, is he? That's the simple. There he is, just behind there. He is half a straight away, and that is not enough to put pressure on the young man. There is the German. Just got a quick flash of the car there. But it's Andersen, for me, who, well, maybe this will change his attitude. We've seen him stutter in the past with race victories pretty much in his grasp. And Ronald Volker managed to make a mistake, if you remember, and you've been watching us earlier on in the series. But at this time, it's Reinhard that makes a mistake, and right there is a perfect microcosm of the Germans' weekend. He finally finds some pace, starts to put a bit of pressure on the leader, and then a tiny mistake, and he rolls the car out of contention. There's the buzzer. This is the last lap, and Krista Andersen can come home and take the third A final victory. There he goes through, and that will be enough for him to take second in the championship. What was the pressure like? Well, there was a bit of it there, wasn't there? So here's how they stand then at the end of the 3 finals. Ronald Volker did it in the first 2, so didn't turn out for the third. Andersen from Reinhard, Hagberg in 4th, Levenon, Timo Lino in 6th, Vilker, Krab, Berntsen and Kutvonen.
Ronald, I'm struggling to think of anything to say apart from well done. That must be a perfect weekend for you.
It was a perfect weekend. The car was perfect, prepared by Umino, my mechanic.
When you were out in front, were you going as fast as you could go, or were you just controlling the pace and looking for that easy win?
Especially in the first main, I got a lot of pressure off Marc, so I had to drive as best as I can, and it was close to the end. So, in the second main, the car was perfect, better than in the first main. It was, I think, the best one of the car this weekend.
Krista, you are the Vice European champion. That must be particularly nice for you, considering it's your hometown.
Yeah, I think this is very nice and a very pleasure for me to be Vice European champion, even though I was looking for the win, but this is where we at.
Marc, I'll be honest with you, I'm not used to interviewing you when you're not first.
Yeah, but it happens. I mean, all the drivers in A-main are almost on the same level, so sometimes this guy wins, sometimes the other guy, and I think it's pretty normal.
Ronald, this really is the high point of the indoor season, but of course we have an outdoor season coming up, and a very important date for all of you, and you specifically, is the World Championships now held in your home country. What are your preparations between now and July?
I think when we go to the outer season in May, I think we are going to test a lot there or on other tracks to get well prepared. And of course it's the goal of many people to be on the top of the World Championship. So this is the focus for this year.
And of course you can catch the World Championships right here on RC Racing later in the year. But there's tons more action to come before that, starting the 1/12 Euros next month on the world's #1 RC Racing TV. Ingrained toenail surgery TV.